You are at Rant Lake, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Neon Mobile Suit Evan Gundam, who says, rant about Endless Jess, the man behind My Japanese Animes, and why his anime videos are so awesome. What are some of your favorite videos by him? Was it fun doing Plebe in the Weeb? Would you ever do it again? Absolutely. Endless Jess is my favorite YouTuber, one of my best friends, one of the first people who I got in contact with on YouTube. He is, of course, My Japanese Animes is not his only channel. The main channel is Endless Jess. That's where he pretty much does all his posting these days, other than his Patreon. Most of his content is released Patreon exclusive, and yes, it is worth it. It's worth it just for the write-ups alone. Every time he releases something, he writes a long-ass post that is absolutely hilarious. He's one of my favorite writers, one of the best comedy writers, in my opinion. He has been around for a long time, and he started off doing sort of basically standard game review style videos, like in the vein of like AVGN and stuff like that, but always with a hint of deconstruction or parody of the genre. And he went really over the top in his presentation, incorporating songs that he would write, or just much more interesting filmography and metatextual elements into his videos that kept getting more and more out of control as time went on. Around the time that I started getting really big off of doing My Little Pony content, he went and started doing that as well, and basically applied his style to My Little Pony. Created an epic series called The Horseshoe Reviews that became just a total deconstruction of himself and the entire genre of internet analytical videos, leading into a literal film. The Horseshoe... Fuck, why is the name not right on the tip of my tongue? His End of Ava. God damn it. The big one. Horseshoe Finale, that's what it's called. He created this really epic series, then went back, started doing more, just all kinds of shit. He's been all over the place. He's made hundreds of videos. He's extremely prolific. I love all of his content. I love just his whole demeanor and style, the way he talks, the things he talks about, the way he presents himself. I think he's funny as hell and a total genius. And he also does Let's Plays on his channel, The Blue Glow, which are also great. Again, most of his content is Patreon exclusive these days because he's homeless right now. You can read about that on his Patreon, but yeah, his life has always been in a total chaotic, out-of-control spiral, which is pretty much why we haven't done more Plebe in the Weeb. So My Japanese Animes is his anime channel. All the videos are fucking hilarious. And he and I just had this idea of doing Half in the Bag, but with anime, and calling it the Plebe in the Weeb. And he had written the theme song like a year and a half before we even ended up doing the show. And basically, we did this thing called RadCon, where all the members of the Procrastinators podcast came to my house, and we all just created whatever we could in that time. And he and I made 3 episodes of The Plebe and the Weeb, and we decided to do a Kickstarter to launch a full season of it. It worked. We did it. It was not good timing for Jesse. He was in a really bad place in his life, and it was when he got home, his house had flooded and most of his shit was destroyed. So it took a long time to edit. We chewed through the budget real quickly, and I still haven't delivered on all of the rewards. And we were supposed to make 2 full seasons of it. So I went to his house at one point when I was driving around the country. We filmed 4 episodes of a season 3, but they were really bad, and so he threw them away. Because we didn't really have any materials to do it with. The audio and video quality were really bad, and so we would probably do more if we ever reached a state where his life was under control enough that, he could travel regularly and do those kinds of things. It just hasn't been that way. He's a man who's always deserved way more success than he has. And it's only because he's as good as he is that he does have the kind of fans who will support him and help him through all these trying times that he's a part of. So, I've been a patron forever, and I probably always will be because I'm such a big fan of this guy who I'm also friends with, you know. But yeah, doing Plebe and the Weeb was a total nightmare. It was actually not fun at all, and it sucked. And you can see that in the videos. You can see that we're stressed out and fucking full of hate and no desire to be there, and it was a total clusterfuck just because of the timing of when it happened and how stressful it was to organize. If we ever did another season, it would be very different. We would not have such a small timetable. We would set the budget higher. It would be at a time when I didn't kind of spring the dates on Jesse of when it would happen. You know, that's really my fault. So yeah, like, we would probably do it again, but just under different circumstances. But my favorite Jesse videos, my favorite of all time, is probably What You Gonna Do, a video about Hulk Hogan that was at first meant to just be about the drama that was surrounding him a few years ago, but spirals out into a much deeper, more emotional story about Jesse's relationship with wrestlers and how so many of his heroes die while the ones that he hates continue on. And, you know, just growing older and more cynical as the years go by. The Hello Kitty's Cube Frenzy review was the one that got me into Jesse. It's a weird, irreverent, depressive review about the state of video games. His SimCity review is similar, also really fucking good. On My Japanese Animes, the Bleach review, the Pokemon one, really almost all of My Japanese Animes videos are classic. They're all worth watching. As for more recent content, because he's mostly been kind of dipping in and out between doing like the occasional analytical review that actually blows up, like his God of War video, which was great, and like his Resident Evil 2 video. He's got some stuff like that, and then the more emotional shit, the long-form podcasts. Like, if you follow his Patreon, most of what he releases are either long Let's Plays or long podcasts, especially since he's literally living out of hotels right now. So, you know, I love all his podcasts and long-form content. He's an amazing storyteller. He can make you care about something you didn't care about, like wrestling, which I know nothing about, but I've listened to dozens of hours of him talking about wrestling because he makes it so interesting to follow. Or comics, for that matter, with his panel cast. He's a man with a lot of diverse interests, and that's another part that comes through a lot and makes him so entertaining, is that he, you know, can cover such a broad swath of culture and picks up on so many things that I would never have thought about or watched or cared about, and, you know, makes me interested in it. Good-ass fucking content creator, if I may say so.